The two teams that are in the Eastern Conference Finals are the Atlanta Hawks and the Milwaukee Bucks. And I think we all saw the Bucks making it this far, but Atlanta was definitely a surprise. They weren't favorites to beat the Knicks in the first round, and now they're in the Eastern Conference Finals.
We all picked Philly.
I picked Philly. I definitely picked Philly. I thought that series should have ended in 5, but Philly blew leads. So it is what it is. The Bucks are 2-1 against the Hawks this season in the regular season, but Trae Young didn't play for 2 of those games. Trae Young has been averaging 29 and 10 in the playoffs. And first of all, do you think Trae Young is going to continue being this dominant against the Bucks, facing Drew Holiday? That's going to be his primary defender, or do you think he's going to drop off? And just preview the series for me.
Well, first of all, Trae played one of those matchups, and he actually played really horrible in that matchup that he did play in. I think, this series should end in 5. I think Milwaukee is a little bit more disciplined than Philly. I think Philly, what they just lacked was discipline and adjustments. I think Milwaukee's going to have that in here. I don't think Atlanta has the personnel to guard Milwaukee. I think their best defenders won't play this playoff series, so it's going to be a tough matchup against Middleton, Holiday, and Giannis, of course. They got Clint, they got John Collins, but they don't have any wing depth on the defensive end and no guard depth on the defensive end, so I think it's going to be a tough go for them. Drew Holiday, I believe, is a better defender than anybody on Philly. I think the closest is Matisse, but I think Drew Holiday is one of the best defensive guards in the league, so it's going to be tough for Trae Young. And it's rough because a team like Milwaukee, Trae Young running that pick and roll, right, and seeing Joel Embiid, who's a walking 300 pounds on a bad meniscus, is a lot different than seeing, Brook Lopez or Giannis. Those are guys who are really good rim protectors, and Drew Holiday's a guy who likes to follow. You're not going to beat him as he beat Ben Simmons off the dribble easy. I think the problem with Ben Simmons was he struggles with quick, speedy guards, guys who are very quick. Drew doesn't struggle with them. I think he's going to be there every play. So I think Milwaukee, this is really their chance, because this is a team that I think they'll be able to outmatch, outmaneuver. But I think, honestly, it could go either way because Atlanta is just playing so great. Trae Young, what we've seen is he can be garbage for a half, the first 3 quarters, and then light it up in the fourth. He never lacks confidence. So it's going to be a tough series. But in my opinion, I got Bucks in 5.
Bucks in 5.
Yeah.
This is a tough one for me too, man. But something that you said there that stuck out with me is that the Hawks were able to take advantage of Doc Rivers' lack of adjustments. And I think about Milwaukee, and I think about the series that they just had with the Nets, and I think about how Budenholzer had all the pieces to beat the Nets. You had a depleted Nets team that I thought Milwaukee should have easily rolled over. I mean, you had Kevin Durant playing the best basketball of his career, in my opinion. But even still, you definitely had way more talent, way more depth, even with missing Dante DiVincenzo. You were playing against an injured Harden. You were playing against a team that didn't have Kyrie Irving. I feel like Budenholzer, they won in spite of Budenholzer to a degree. I didn't love the adjustments that he made. I felt like I would have put Giannis on KD way sooner in the series, even though we saw KD give it to Giannis early in Brooklyn. I still would have stuck that out. I mean, you have Giannis, who is the Defensive Player of the Year, All-NBA player, All-NBA defense. He should have been on KD significantly more than he was. So it worries me for sure against the Hawks, especially with the way that the Hawks are right now. They're healthy, other than DeAndre Hunter and your boy Cam Reddish, where they're going to miss DeAndre Hunter this series against Middleton for sure. But I just feel like I'm looking at the Hawks right now. They're one of the hottest teams in the NBA. You could debate that it's between them and the Suns for hottest team right now. I would lean Phoenix just because they're going through a little bit tougher competition right now. But you look at the Hawks. The Hawks are playing overall great basketball on all ends, all sides of the basketball. You look at Bogdanovich, who struggled these last few games, and they still won in spite of that. You have a coach, right? You have a coach like Nate McMillan, who completely changed the culture over in Atlanta. And I am easily, if we're going strictly a coaching matchup, I'm taking Nate McMillan every day of the week. With all that being said, I still think Giannis and Middleton are going to be too much for the Hawks to handle inside. I just don't think they have the size to beat the Bucks. However, this series is going to be a lot better than what my boy Riv is thinking that it's going to be. I feel like the Bucks are going to take this, but it might go the distance. I think that the Bucks are going to win this one in 7. And I didn't even answer your question. Trae Young, I mentioned this on the last podcast, actually, but Trae Young, I feel like there is no one right now on planet Earth that could stop this man, Trae Young. Right now, there's no one that could stop him. Maybe a healthy Kawhi.
Oh, okay.
That's it.
Yeah.
He's the only one right now.
Make that clear.
If I didn't, I know you would have said something, but Trae Young is just...
Wait until you see PJ Tucker on him.
Yeah, you think so too?
That's an aggressive young man.
He is. He definitely is aggressive. But I feel like Trae would get his calls too. Because Trae is smart enough.
They're letting him play.
I agree, but KD's not the type where, other than that swipe through, well, of course that swipe through move is what that changed basketball too. But Trae Young, I feel like he's adjusted to how the NBA's played, where his size he uses to his advantage, where that's where what he uses to draw a significant amount of his fouls. But Drew Holiday benefited from Harden being injured, because if Harden was 100%, there's no doubt in my mind Harden's cooking him. There's no one. I don't see anyone guarding Harden the way that Drew Holiday looked like he guarded Harden in that series. Harden's injury made Drew Holiday look like the best defender in the league, like you mentioned.
This is what I got to say. Trae Young has been phenomenal, but I think this is the matchup where he has a tough series. I thought it was last one because Thibault, Ben Simmons, Sixers had the personnel. They just didn't execute on it. I mean, they held Trae Young to some bad halves. They just couldn't keep it up.
Yeah.
I think Drew Holiday can keep it up. I'm not worried about Middleton because he's a guy that any team he plays in any series, he always gets to his spots. He always gets his shots.
For sure.
He just misses. That's really what it's been. You look at his home versus away numbers. Away, he's so much more worse.
Up at home.
That's true. That's true. But the thing,
Middleton's been amazing. I'm surprised you feel
on
this
the
way.
road, he's not been amazing, and he gets the same shots. He just misses. So Middleton, I don't think you need a lockdown defender on Middleton. He's either gonna make it or miss it. I mean, that's who he is. And until this season in the playoffs, he's been missing in the playoffs a lot. But I do think now it's changing. Hawks, they have a lot of offense. Bogey, Collins, Gallinari, Huter.
A lot of shooters.
Herder, my fault.
That's okay.
And Capella. But like you mentioned earlier, before the pod, I think that there's nobody on the Hawks that can stop Giannis. Capella can't do it. Maybe they can try and build a wall with Gallinari.
I was gonna say a Collins Capella wall is the only thing I can think of.
Who you putting at the top? You need a wing, like not a speedy wing, but a versatile wing at the top.
I guess Bogdanovich or Hoarder.
It's too small.
I agree. Listen, that's why I feel like that Milwaukee's going to be too much for him to handle.
I just think that this series is not going to distance. I think this is a sweep. Out of respect for the Hawks and Trae, I might give them a game. But I think this is a sweep. When you just look at the Hawks versus the Bucks, starting lineup versus starting lineup, you got Trae, Bogdanovich, Herder, Collins, and Capella. Look at the Bucks, Holiday versus Trae. That's going to that's even because Trae is better, but I think Holiday will really neutralize him. Middleton, Bogdanovich, I'm giving that to Middleton.
Yep.
Tucker and Herder, I'm taking Tucker in that. To be a great defensive player, I think
they can switch everything.
Tucker can even be on Bogdanovich. Giannis versus Collins, that's Giannis. Lopez versus Capella. Lopez can space the floor and he's a good rim protector. I'm giving that to Lopez. So I think the Bucks just have a way better roster. And even with their lack of adjustments, I don't think this is a series where they need to adjust much because Giannis is going to be unstoppable. Middleton is going to be really good. And the Hawks, I don't think they have the defense to guard Milwaukee. So I think this is a sweep.
I just don't want to count them out. I mean, because
when you said Middleton, what I saw against Bucks and Nets, it was a lot of possessions where Bruce Brown made it really, really tough on Middleton, him losing the ball, him taking some really horrible shots, So I think if they would have had maybe like a DeAndre Hunter type of guy, 6'7", strong, it would have been really tough. But like you said, Middleton plays really, really well. I don't know he's kind of like Paul George. He plays really well at home, and on the road he just sucks. So I think this series, it's like the Bucks can switch everything. So aside from obviously Brook Lopez on Trae Young, but for the most part, when they go small, they can switch everything. I mean, it's not even small because Giannis is 7 feet tall. So I think Hawks are just going to try to, go offense for offense because, the Bucks didn't shoot well from the three-point line against the Nets, and they're a really good three-point shooting team. So they were missing shots too. So I think the Hawks are just going to try to out-offense them because they're a really, really good offensive team.
I don't think it'll happen, but if Trae Young does have a historic series and manages to pull this series out,
to talk about.
No kidding. That's not a
I mean,
lie.
this puts him over so many guys.
Yeah, we're going to have a lot to talk about. We're going to have a lot to talk about.
Yes, that would be debatable.
We're going to have a lot to talk about. Over your boy, too.
Which one?
Your boy. The only one I talk about.
AD?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Next topic. Do something, please.
Over your guy.
Trae could be better than AD.
Oh, my God.
Who would you take? Who would you take to build a roster on? I would
easily
take Trae.
Trae.
Oh, okay.
Not stupid.
I know you.
To build a roster, I mean, bro, he's how old? 22?
AD is 26.
But he's injury. He's in like an old 26.
He's built like an old man.
Yeah, he could like blink his eyes and get hurt. He's so soft, but he's amazing at basketball.
It's crazy because you guys asked, like a couple weeks ago, who's more important, Trae or Devin Booker, and then we might see them in the finals. That's freaking insane.
Somebody commented and said that's going to be the finals matchup.
Wow.
I disagree, but
it could
it's not
happen.
too far-fetched.
It's really could happen.
Budenholzer has choked so many times in the past and refused to make adjustments. It would not surprise me if Nate McMillan outcoached him and won this series.
Every time he's choked, was Giannis the best player in the series? Aside from Miami.
Toronto, obviously, I lean Kawhi.
And then
Miami, he was the best player.
And then Brooklyn, it was going to be KD, but then,
But Giannis showed up. Giannis, aside from KD's egregious scoring where he was just night in, night out, putting up 35 with his eyes closed, Giannis did everything.
Yeah.
Giannis did everything this series. Giannis really came up. He said, all right, you know what? I'm going to praise KD. I'm going to say he's the best player in the world, but I'm no slouch, even though I didn't like those comments.
I just hope that the Suns make the finals and not the Clippers because I think the Bucks would trample the Clippers in the finals.
I agree. Wholeheartedly,
I think the Suns have the best chance to beat them.
With Kawhi, it's a good series, but without Kawhi...
No comment, man. I ain't going to get into that.
It's the truth.
You got to stop.
Without Kawhi, bro, it's not even close.
Trample?
4 games.
4
games.
Okay. I ain't going to say nothing because we got to get past Phoenix first.
I was going to say because this is about to be a 4-game series.
Well, Phoenix is an offensive machine.
They're amazing. Yeah. And without CP3.
We have Pat Bev guarding Booker. What do you want me to do?
That's
nothing I can do
chicken.
about that. Yeah.
Barbecue chicken, man.
Come on. Haters.
I'm not hating. I'm being real. Listen, if I was a hater, I'd be saying Paul George is bad. I'm not.
I mean, trample, though? That's crazy.
I don't think the Clippers have a chance against the Bucks in the finals.
They don't have a chance against the Suns. We don't even have to be talking about this.
You don't think we have a chance against the Suns?
No.
Okay. So you think they're gonna sweep us?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's what I like.
I think it's a 5-6 game series.
5?
It could go 5.
Yeah. All right.
It depends.
Listen, this was the best you guys could have played last game. We're off topic a little bit. But the best you guys could have played. We had
a day's rest. We were on dead legs.
True.
We still put up 114 points.
But sometimes time's not always the best thing.
Yeah, that is true. But we just came out of a grueling game, so we had to come back from like 22 points.
For sure.
Game 6.
For sure.
Pardon me. Game 6, we had to come back from 22 points. Milwaukee and Atlanta get the little 2-3 day break. We got a day break. I'm tired, man.
Okay.
We'll be back though. 6 games.
6 games.
I didn't say we were gonna win.
Okay.
I didn't say we were gonna win 6 games though.